Assalamu alaikum. My name is Muhammad Waqas and I am your instructor for the course of Pakistan Studies PKS 1001. Actually, Pakistan Studies is a fascinating course which covers Pakistan's political history, its society, its culture. In other words, we can say Pakistan Studies is about you, about me, about all of us. In this course, we will be studying about some of the political developments which have some relationship with the state Pakistan. Some of the events and concepts, maybe you are familiar of these subjects, as Pakistan Studies is a part of the course of studies at lowest level. You have already studied most of the topics of Pakistan Studies. In this course, we will be studying about the historical development of the state Pakistan. Then we will be studying about its geography, where Pakistan is located on the globe of the world. What is the significance of the geography of Pakistan? About its culture, custom, conventions, people, about the governmental structure of Pakistan, about the constitution of Pakistan. And then we will be discussing about the relationship of Pakistan not only with its neighbors but also with the important countries in different continents. For example, continent Europe and continent North America. So we will be discussing about the foreign policy of Pakistan as well. Today the topic under discussion, that is the Lahore Resolution. We also call it Pakistan Resolution. On 23rd March we celebrate a day with the name Pakistan's Day. That is a very historical day because on that historic day not only a resolution was presented but also passed in 27th annual session of All Indian Muslim League. Now I will show some slides to you. Today the topic we are going to discuss right now, that is Lahore Resolution 1940. We also call it as Pakistan Resolution. Actually, there were many factors that has to be taken into account because political experience led to the conclusion. Maybe the Muslims, they were thinking perhaps about partition of India, about division of India, or separation will offer them a more secure solution, a better option, a practical method for achieving their goal or objectives. So Lahore Resolution stand as a landmark in the history of Pakistan. So now we are going to discuss about some of the important points. We will be discussing about its background, about the annual session of All Indian Muslim League, how Qaid-e-Azam came in Lahore, and about the address, about the basic point of the resolution, then the reaction of different sections, Hindu, Muslim and British India, and then we will conclude it. So first of all, when we talk about the background of Lahore Resolution, why Lahore Resolution was presented, this is a question to be asked. So history is like a laboratory for us, for the student of political science or Pakistan studies. History is our teacher. It guides us, it teaches us. Historical experiments instigate us that what to do, which thing is better for you. So when we look at the history, so it seems that the Muslims leader were worried about the future of the Muslims after the War of Independence, which took place obviously in the year of 1857. The only goal before the leaders was to provide a peaceful, safe and graceful environment to the Muslims nation. But the future looked black and unsatisfactory, because in history what happened? In slides you can see Congress ministries during 1937 to 1939. It was a period when Congress came into the power, and it started to violate or exploit the rights of the Muslims. Then obviously the year of 1939 and to 1945 was very important, because Second World War took place, and after the War of Independence there was an anxiety in the Muslims that how we could promote and protect our interests. So the only goal was peaceful, safe and graceful environment to the Muslims nation. Allama Iqbal address and Chaudhry Rahmat Ali pamphlet, Now or Never, these were different things which boosted up the confidence of the Muslims that we must claim for an independent land. Then this is a second heading, annual session of All Indian Muslim League. You people must keep in your permanent memory that All India Muslim League, it was a political party of the Muslims, and in the year of 1906, when a deputation of Muslims came from Shimla after having their appointment with the Lord Minto, it was year 1906 when a political party, All India Muslim League, was formed, and it was 27th annual session of All Indian Muslim League at Minto Park. Nowadays we call it as Iqbal Park, where there is Minar-e-Pakistan. So from 22 March to 24 March, it was a session of the Muslim League, and in this session of All Indian Muslim League, this resolution was presented. Arrival of Quaid-e-Azam in Lahore, because that resolution was presented in Lahore Minto Park. So Quaid-e-Azam was in Karachi, so by train he visited Lahore. Along with this, because it was a time of Second World War, or there was ban over any type of session, sitting or a conference. Why? I told you it was because of the Second World War, and British want full cooperation from the Indians. And another point which was a hurdle, that was Hawksar killing. Hawksar, it was an organization of the Muslims for the liberation of the Muslims of India. Now we will talk about some of the hurdles in the session of Muslim League. What was a hurdle? I told you, first of all, British created problem. Why it created problem? Because it wanted peace. It was Second World War, and it want full cooperation from the Indians. So they used force, police lathi charge on the Muslim League worker, police put it the tear gases. Hawksar were not only ready to cooperate with Jinnah, it was another important issue. Hawksar, they were Muslims, but because they were protesting and the British government opened fire on them, so Quaid-e-Azam, they were not ready in a position of the procession, but Quaid-e-Azam has taken this decision. Now the presidential address of Quaid-e-Azam, that was the address which was given by the Quaid-e-Azam, and in his famous historic address, Quaid-e-Azam talked about different points. First of all, he said, Muslims are a nation by any definition. Although it was Sayyid Ahmad Khan who first time used the word nation. So Quaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah in 1940, when he took a U-turn, earlier he was working for the collective benefits of Hindu and Muslims, but in 1940 he was just claiming, working for the interest of the Muslims. He said Muslims are a nation by any definition, and in his address he demanded for the creation of a separate state. Earlier he was demanding for some constitutional safeguards. He was asking for separate electorate, but now his claim was for the creation of a separate state and a country. Further, Quaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah, he said it is not an issue of communal nature. It is a natural claim, a natural right, and it is the right of the Muslims to claim for a nation. It is not a communal issue. Muslims right or is not safe in collective India. Quaid-e-Azam was much worried about it because he was having the experience of the history, that in history what happened with them. Always Hindu and All Indian National Congress, they deceived them. So that was the reason that Quaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah was not ready to claim for a collective India. He was always favoring a separate homeland. Another point which we are going to discuss right now, that is the basic points of the resolution. A resolution which was presented by A.K. Fazlul Haq. He was the Chief Minister of Bengal province, also known as Shere Bengal. So he explained different points. First of all, he talked about the different units. He said that there will be contiguous units in different areas. Contiguous mean साथ जुड़े हुए, connected with. As Allama Iqbal said in his famous address at Allahabad, that I can see in northeastern and northwestern part of the India, which are Muslims majority areas, they must constitute into a Muslim majority country. The second point is no scheme will be acceptable for Muslims. It means that we know very well that in history the Muslims were demanding for different things. They were demanding for the protection and promotion of their rights. They were asking for the separate electorate. They were asking for constitutional guarantee. But now they decided that in spite of having a separate homeland, no scheme can be fruitful for them. So Quaid-e-Azam directly said that no scheme will be acceptable for the Muslims. Quaid-e-Azam further said rights of the Muslim will be protected. I mean, after the creation of Pakistan, if the British government accept the demand of Quaid-e-Azam, he said if the Muslims who are living in Hindu majority areas, the rights of the Muslims must be protected. The political experience led them to demand a separate state. Earlier they were not demanding for a separate state, but now Quaid-e-Azam started to demand for a separate state for the Muslims. Now we will talk about the reaction of Hindu, Muslim and All Indian National Congress. First of all, when we talk about the reaction of All Indian National Congress and Hindus, so the Hindus especially, they criticized this resolution because they said it is against the concept of federation. They also rejected the demand of the Jinnah for a separate homeland. They started to criticize this resolution. Indian press played a very pivotal role. Indian press started to call it as Pakistan resolution. So the Muslims were very happy on passing the Lahore Resolution. They welcomed it. And when we talk about the reaction of the British press, so British did not pay any attention on Lahore Resolution. Now the conclusion. This was the first decisive step towards the achievement of a separate homeland. After this firm decision, only 7 years of Muslims got a separate state of their own. That is the reason why we can say this resolution was the height of the struggle. Firm decision of Jinnah, and it was end of the Hindu domination. This resolution was like a light of hope for Muslims. After this Lahore Resolution, All Indian Muslim League, which was established in the year of 1906, emerged as a major political party for Muslims. Along with All Indian Muslim League, there were many other political parties, but All India Muslim League in the year of 1940, it emerged as the only representative political party of Muslims. Quaid-e-Azam rose as a great leader. Thank you.